What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Myself and Lee are here to talk all things Arsenal. We had a few technical issues, I'm afraid, so we're a little bit late, but big up to everyone that's here locked in already. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure you're following both myself and Lee. And yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about the West Ham game this weekend, the preview. We're going to talk about the team and the selection that we think we believe will go with, and also score predictions. And we've got some news on a couple of contract deals that are apparently close. Andrea Berta is just still cooking, isn't he? His job's not done. He's not relaxing. He's not put his feet up yet. He's not gone on holiday. He's continuing to work behind the scenes, it seems. So big up for him. He's been unbelievable, man. Lee, how you doing, bruv?
Yeah, all good. Like the internet's a bit slow today. I don't know what's going on. Like maybe it's the weather. Maybe it's the weather. Like
Maybe.
I don't know. Like. But it's not been a nice day out there today, is it? Like it's not. First sort of remind me today of winter, you know what I mean? So, yeah, other than that, all good. And yeah, when is he getting holiday, this Berta, like? Because realistically, you know what I mean? I don't want him putting his feet up at Christmas because January's round the corner and that's when the transfer window's on, like, you know. So I think he better on the next international break have a little bit of an holiday, this boy, because he's doing the business, isn't he, like, you know? So, yeah, he's not stopping, as they say. Nothing's stopping this man. He's looking at tying up Timber, tying up Saka. Yeah, all good stuff, like, you know. So yeah, and rightly so. This is what you want. This is what somebody said it yesterday. I do believe it was a Man United player. Who was it? It was on a Paul Merson. Paul Merson was on it. Scholes.
Nicky Button, Scholes.
Nicky Butt, yes, turned around and said that Arsenal are the best run club at this moment in time. And do you know what? I'll make him right.
What's crazy about that is I would have said we're one of the worst run clubs not long ago. And what I liked about that was they were basically saying from this summer onwards, from what they can see right now, not what they've seen in the last 20 years. I think that would be a different question. But where they are right now, the way things are cooking, the contract renewals, the players that have been shipped out, the players that have been signed, and what we've done in the last sort of, 6 months, I don't think anyone can say that we are looking run badly right now. And that's the first time I've said that in the best part of 2 decades, Lee, if I'm honest with you, because I feel like the Cronkies haven't really cared. And if they're not going to care, which I'm still not sure if they do, put people in charge that do care. Because that's the thing. If I run a business that I weren't really my priority, I'd be like, right, I don't really want to put all of my love and passion into this because it ain't for me. I don't really do football. I'm already a football guy, but I'm going to put these 3 guys in charge so that they can actually get the stuff done. And it looks like now we're getting shit done because Andrea Berta's cooking. And the news that we're hearing, the breaking news for today, Sammy Mockbell states that Jurriën Timber and Saka are close to new deals. Saka's is rumoured to be the highest earner at the club, 300k. Timber is only on £90,000 a week at the moment. So they're talking about him going up to what he deserves. I imagine it'll be sort of 150, 180 a week. The work doesn't stop, bruv. This is amazing news. We'll talk about it in more detail, but you've got to say big up to him for that as well, right?
Yeah, I will do. Before we start, big up to you. And I watched that your podcast with Adrian, like, you know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, listen, that is how to discuss 2 people with different views, by the way. I thought it was he put in good views, a good case, and you did, like, you know what I mean? So big up. If you have anybody who's watching this and hasn't watched that, listen, go and watch that because it was a real interesting conversation, like, you know. I'm in the middle. There was things that I agreed on both sides, and that was, I think, why it was such a good discussion. So yeah, so big yourself up for that, like, yeah. And as you say,
it was what I liked about him though was he wasn't telling me that I was wrong.
No, that's what I thought he was. I thought he was.
He was kind of like, well, you see it differently to me. I agree. I think you're harsh to say that he needs to be replaced if he doesn't win something, because I feel like he's taken us to, new levels. And it was interesting to listen to him. I think with Adrian as well, he's obviously played the game, right? So he sees things differently to me, which is all good as well. So it was nice to him to come on. He wanted to come on. We had a chat and I said, yeah, of course, it'd be great to get some of a different opinion on, which is what I like on my channel. I get everyone. I don't care if you have this opinion of Arsenal or this wild take on Arsenal or this deluded take on Arsenal. I'll hear it. Do you know what I mean? That's why I love talking about it.
but
It
was
can change your
disgusting,
opinions. You know what I mean? It can change your opinions. Like, maybe,
well, do you know what? I'm going to say it a little bit. I'm going to be really. He changed my opinions, not opinions, but he made me think. He made me think about, like when I've turned around and said, if you don't win anything, he's got to go.
Yeah.
I do believe he's still got to win something. I'm not going to lie when I say that. But
No.
the case that he brought on, I said, yeah, I see what you're saying there. And I don't agree, though, when he turns around and says that the club was a mess when he took over. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
we're not relegation fodder or whatever. Like, he wasn't taking over Tottenham. We wasn't taking over Arsenal when Tottenham were bottom of the league when Harry Redknapp done it and all of that. Like, do you know what I mean? And if you think Harry Redknapp took Tottenham from the bottom of the league to where they got them to the Champions League, and then they got rid of him. Like, you know what I mean? I know there was a thing with England, but what I'm saying is that's a mess. I don't believe that when you're 8th in the league and 5th in the, come 5th in the league the year before and should have got into the Champions League, by the way, if it weren't for Emery doing stupid things. I don't think the club was in a total mess. But what I will say is that he has sorted it out and done a fantastic job, which he needs to get credit for. And the team we are now is unreal. Like, but then I liked your point. Well, somewhere along the line, you've got to get over the line. You know what I mean? So that I think is great. And I thought it was a really good discussion and a sensible one. One like. When you get in some of these things, then they go, "Oh, you don't know what you're on. Why don't you go and support Spurs? Or why don't you go and do this and do that?" There was none of that. It was pretty. I thought fantastic. So well done to both of you, and
thanks,
well done
man.
to you especially.
No, thanks, man. No, I appreciate it, and he's a good guy as well. Really nice guy as well. He was genuinely like behind the scenes. He was chatting away, and he's a nice guy. So yeah, it was nice when you get that. But something else that is nice is Timber and Saka looking to sign.
Yes.
I genuinely believe, I said this to Curtis on his channel earlier, I genuinely believe that Timber's been the best player at Arsenal in the last 12 months consistently. I don't think there's been a player that's been near that consistency level. And I think for the best part of this season, he's continued that. He deserves a new contract. He deserves a pay rise. And Bukayo Saka, I mean, he just has to get a new contract, right? And I do believe he does need to be one of the highest earners, if not the highest earner. So fair play to Andrea Berta, man. What do you make of these two signings?
Yeah, totally agree. I do think that he does deserve to be the top earner, him and Saliba, because they're our two best players. And then Declan Rice, or if and when he signs a new contract, he needs to be on near enough that as well, So without a shadow of doubt with Saka. Listen, with Timber, this is why you can't get too close and favoritism to the players, because I got very, very close, and one of my favourites was Aaron Ramsdale. Gone, goalkeeper comes in better. Ben White, as you well know, is definitely one of my favorites. I love Ben White, and I would have said this time last season, no, he's still the best in the league before the injuries and whatever. But since Timber's come in and back from injury, by the way, I've got to hold my hands up. You know what I mean? He is the best right back in the league, and Ben White is the second best right back in the league. That's how I'm going to say it from now on. So, but he's a million miles in front of him at the moment. I know Ben's not fit and all that. I get that, but I do think with Timber, I think that Ben White's definitely got a future, because you can rotate him in and out a few times there. But this is a guy that has just excelled defending wise. You know what I mean? Listen, I watched Anthony Gordon in midweek. I know it's another team and whatever. He was destroying a team in the Champions League this week. He never got a kick against Arsenal. Every time I've seen Anthony Gordon, he's caused everybody problems. Not Timber. Didn't have a kick. And listen, Newcastle fans will say it was his first game back in 3 games because of his ban. That's not necessarily true, because he played in the Champions League, so he had a game under his belt. Ben White is a top player. I know that as well, but for me, I ain't seen a lot better than this. Who when you go into right backs, of all my time at Arsenal, I'm going a little bit old here, right? When I say this, so makes me a little bit. I don't know if I should reveal, but I will. Pat Rice was sort of the first one that come in. There was a guy called John Devine, second that didn't do right that. Colin Hill, John Hollins. Then Viv come in, and he was superb. Viv Anderson, I would have to actually say one of the best. And then I would turn around and say Lee Dixon. Lauren was great, but I think Timber's up there when we're talking top right backs in Arsenal history now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know. So,
I think if he wins silverware, which we all hope he does in the next few years, I think he'll be recognised like Lauren and Dixon. I think he will. Like, and you can go not only Premier League, you can go back in history to Pat Rice, etc., Viv Anderson. But for me, when I'm looking at who I've seen, there's only Lee Dixon and Lauren, really. We've not really had any other right backs that have managed to go to that level. You know, we had some good ones. I was a big fan of Sagna. Thought he was very, very good, Sanya, but I don't think he's in the level. I think Timber is that good that I think he's in the elite. And I agree with you. I think he's the best right back in the league, and I think he's one of the best in Europe. I don't think there's many. I know Koundé's good at Barca. I know Hakimi's good at PSG. You've obviously got Trent at Real Madrid now, but I think he's defensively better than Trent. I think he's a better all-round player than Koundé. That leaves Hakimi, and I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. Maybe Hakimi's better going forward, but if I'm honest, I think Timber's just as good defensively. So with Ben White, when I saw Ben White, I thought he's an exceptional right back. I never thought he was great at centre back. I've got to be honest. I thought he was all right there. But at right back, he's really good. And I remember signing Timber thinking I'm excited. And I remember somebody saying, why? We've got Ben White. And I said, no, I've seen enough of this kid to know he's going to be good. And when he got injured, I was devastated, because I thought, that's just not what you need. One, it's bad when someone gets injured in a bad one. But what would he be like would he be even better, do you reckon, if he didn't have that ACL? Would he actually have gone to another level? I don't know. It's mad, isn't it?
That is the question. What if he hadn't got that? Because you look at certain players, I don't think I've seen anybody come back and be as good as him with that sort of injury. But if he hadn't had that, what would we have got here? What would have we have got? You know what I mean? So I'm with you on that. You know what I mean? I don't know where that would actually put him. It's such a great question. It'd be right up there, like, you know what I mean? So
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think he could be even better. So look, I'm a fan of him, and I think he deserves to be on what he is being put on. I think he's a really good rotation option. Ben White definitely is better with the overlapping with Saka. I think we've missed that at times, but I definitely think that Timber defensively, just and as a player, is better than Ben White. And as you say, been big fine. Just on Ben White, very quickly, Thomas Tuchel didn't pick him again for England. Is that just done now with him in England? Has he got a future for the country, Ben White, or does he not care? Does he just want to play for Arsenal and not bothered by the country?
Well, I think in the last two games you can see that he's not quite fit. He's done all right at Man United. I think people forget about that. Firstly, the first game against Man United, I thought he'd done okay, but if you remember, he didn't last in the game and got injured. I ain't really seen him since. So, what are we in now? August. So it's a good couple of months into the season. He's not hardly played, really. So I think he needs to get fit and play a regular game. So, like the international, where Ben White's going to come in for us big time, Dan, is next month after the next international break. Then when you're playing, like I think in December and January, if I'm right, we're playing weekend, midweek. So you've got to rotate out there. And Timber is one player that I would rotate more than anybody else. And the thing is, if you've got somebody like Timber and then Ben White is very, very best, Dan, you know what I mean? The drop-off's hardly, that much. So I think that's when it comes in there. And then, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see Ben White at this moment in time getting in the England squad unless there are a couple of injuries, you know what I mean? Like if, for instance, Reece James goes down, which is always a lot more than likely to happen. So, I think injuries permitting either way, him staying fit and injuries other players, otherwise I don't see him getting back.
I've got to be honest, I don't think that if everyone's fit, he gets in anyway. Because he is a right back. I don't think that he is better than Reece James or Trent. I don't think he is. So I think sometimes it's about timing. Lee Dixon will know that. You know, he had Gary Neville to get in front of and he couldn't, you know. So I think sometimes it's about timing with the England side. You know, you look at the players, Lee, back in the 90s that were not able to get into that England setup, particularly strikers, Ian Wright,
Yeah.
Andy Cole, Kevin Campbell, bless him. All these guys, they weren't able to get in because it was Shearer and Sheringham, you know. So sometimes it's about timing. You know what I'm saying? Rocky, he couldn't get in because at the time they had the likes of, you know, Peter Beardsley and John Barnes. Rocky couldn't get in front of them. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely timing with the England side. You've got to set up, you've got to look at. I will say this, I think Adam Wharton should be in there ahead of Jordan Henderson, personally, unless he's injured, and I don't know. But I think he's definitely one I'd rather see in there. Even Kobe Minu, I'd rather see in ahead of Jordan Henderson. I've got to be honest, I'm nothing against him, but do we really still need a Jordan Henderson in there at this era? I think it's time to move on, isn't it?
Don't knock age, Dan. Don't knock age. You know what I mean? Like, you know, at the end of the day.
Oh, age. I thought you said H then. I thought he's calling him H, this guy.
You know what I mean? Don't knock age. You know what I mean? So if you're good enough, you're old enough, as far as I'm concerned with the likes of Damon, it works the other way as well. If you're still good enough and whatever, don't worry about the age. Walton, another one, he did play last night, didn't he? So he is fit. I like what Tuchel said today, by the way. It was such a good camp last time. They won 5-0 in Serbia. That he said he wanted to keep the most of them people in there. So I think that's a little bit of loyalty. Yeah. I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean? I don't think that would happen if the World Cup, if that was the actual World Cup squad. But I think at the end of the day, not a bad thing. Basically, what he's told Jude Bellingham, Foden, and Grealish. What I'm looking at it from those three more is keep playing well, otherwise you're not coming back in.
Well, on that, he did also mention Lewis-Skelly and the fact that he has to play in first-team football, otherwise he won't be picked. And at the moment, he's out of favour with Calafiori. Let me ask you the question Curtis asked me. Who do you prefer? And are you worried that Lewis-Skelly might not get an England call-up this season with the squad depth that Arsenal have got now?
Oh, right. First and foremost, I don't care about England. You know what I mean? Right. That's it. You know what I mean? Like if he's playing well for Arsenal, that's all that matters to me. Like, you know what I mean? So if he's in the England squad or not, it don't bother me. I don't know if it bothers you. It don't bother me. Like, you know, obviously,
all it bothers me for is if I just want him to be happy and enjoy playing football.
Yeah. So I get that, and he wants to be playing and all that. Like, you know, and at this moment in time, I don't see anybody better than him at left back in the England setup. Do you? I don't think there's anybody better.
No, I think there's only Lewis Hall that's got a competition.
Right, so like, you know, I wouldn't be too overly concerned about that. And the other thing is he can play in a couple of positions. At the end of the day, who I prefer, that's a good question. Like, I prefer the one who's playing well. At the moment, they're both playing well. And what I see is, this is how I see it. Calafiori's done excellently. Like, you know, look at Lewis-Skelly's performance on Wednesday. He had to be a high level, otherwise, you know what I mean? Otherwise, he's never going to get back. So the level
he was really good, man.
It's going up and up and up. You know, Calafiori, for instance, now I think needs to come in on Saturday if he is playing on Saturday, and he has to play bloody well, because if he doesn't, I'm looking at it and going, well, hold on a minute. Lewis-Skelly had a great game the other night, like, so these two are going to be pushing each other. You want my honest opinion if I've got a favourite? Of course, I'm going to say Miles Lewis-Skelly. Like, you know what I mean? I like him. He's English. He's come through the. I've got nothing against the Italians, by the way. I love their food. He's come through the academy. I think you've always got a little bit more feeling for those players than anybody else. I have anyway. Anybody that comes through the ranks, love them. But at this moment in time, Calafiori's done it excellently well, like, you know, and so if you want, it's not about who's your favourite, is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they've both got flaws in their game at left back, if I'll be honest, but they've also got exciting things in their game going forward. And dare I say it, left back probably isn't their best positions. There you go.
Nah, I've got to be honest with you. Left back scenario is still a talking point for me, and it's not because I don't think any of them are good. There's a lot on it, and in Capier, I haven't seen enough of. He's to come back and can play left back. Lewis-Skelly's the one that I like the most, but I'm not sure he's a left back. I think he's more of a box-to-box midfielder, but Cam do a job there. Calafiori's impressed me in the first 5-6 games, although I was questionable about his fitness and positioning and discipline, but I do think he's improved on those things. But also, I don't think that he's a natural left back either. I think that he might be a centre back. And then I'm looking at the England setup thinking Lewis-Skelly might not at the moment deserve to be playing every game at left back for Arsenal, but he does for England. But how does that make sense? Because one's got to happen for the other one to be the thing. So there's a lot of talk on this left back scenario and this left back situation with England. I'm like you, I don't care about England in qualifiers and friendlies. I do care about England in 2 tournaments, and that's the Euros and the World Cup. So I do want him going to the World Cup because I'll be watching it and I'll be cheering him on, and I want Arsenal players in there. Don't want to be cheering on Spurs players like most years. So for me, it'd be good to see him in there. But I think Tuchel's right. If you're not playing for your club, you're not going to play for your country. And the same goes for anyone. So Jack Grealish, Rashford, they've got moves now where they're playing, and now all of a sudden they're back in the England side. Well, they had to step out, because they weren't getting a look in at City or United because of problems they had off the field. So I think when you look at it, that is fair what Tuchel has said. So look, I like Lewis-Skelly a lot, and he is the one that I would pick. And it's not because I prefer him over Calafiori technically gifted wise. I just think in that position, I think he's got a little bit more about him, Lewis-Skelly. I think he's actually drive on the ball is a little bit better. And Calafiori at times just gives me a little bit more anxiety than Lewis-Skelly does, bruv. I've got to be honest. And I think although Lewis-Skelly can get caught out, Calafiori gives me that. Do you know what I mean by that?
I don't know what you mean, but you can't say that about Calafiori this season. He ain't
absolutely not. No, absolutely
that's
not.
the thing. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying last season and all that. I think defensively he's been outstanding this season when we've actually.
I think all 4 of our defenders have been.
Yeah. So I can't. I think he's been really up there this year. But I think both. Listen, I think Lewis-Skelly will get games as well. I really do. I don't think it again. If you're leaving Calafiori out and putting in, there's no drop off whatsoever, and there's no drop off the other way. They're both up at the minute. They're both playing well. I just think that I when it comes to when we get back after the international break, I think maybe if Calafiori's played 2 games for Italy and Lewis-Skelly's only played 1, I'll play Lewis-Skelly in the game against Fulham, and then straight after Fulham, I think it's Atletico Madrid, and then after that it's Palace. You've got to be chopping and changing these players, Dan, you know what I mean? So yeah. I do think he'll get his games. I don't think there's a problem there, really. I don't.
No, I don't think there's an issue about game time. It's just an issue of, is there going to be an opportunity for, Lewis-Skelly to find his way back into a regular first team spot at left back? I think is where my question mark is. And I genuinely don't know the answer to that. It could be. Calafiori could get injured next game and we're like, oh, he's back in now already. You just don't know what happens in football, do you?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Great point.
It's all about timing. Listen, we have got West Ham, and it's a different West Ham because it's Nuno. We all know how they're going to set up. They're going to counter-attack. They're going to set up and try and nick us on the break with Jared Bowen and co. This is a bit frustrating, really, because I wanted to play Graham Potter's West Ham because they were getting battered. And although I do feel quietly confident, I think it'll be a tougher test, Lee, if I'm honest.
Yeah, definitely. I think this would have been a nice, comfortable win. And, what we've seen of West Ham of late when Potter's been in there, it had to change. Speaking to West Ham, Paul, about it yesterday or the day before, got to change the manager, you know what I mean? And he, Paul, he's very, very positive on everything. And even he said, no, he's got to go, you know what I mean? So when Paul says something like that, then they've got to go, that's how I look at it. So, yeah, and I think that West Ham fans will be a little bit more confident with that in mind, that he's that it's a different side and all that. But again, I'm going to say I don't think that should worry us. This manager bounce, we are far superior than West Ham at this moment in time, and I expect us to win it, whether they've got Nuno in charge or not. But I do expect it to be a little bit tougher, as I think it'll be a tough game, a little bit like on Wednesday, where I think we're winning it, and then I think in the last 10, 20 minutes of the game, we move quite comfortably away from them. That's how I see it. But I think that for 60, 70 minutes, it's going to be a tough battle out there. And we've got to defend really, really well. Really, really well. No silly mistakes. Don't ever give this team the chance to go 1-0 up, because then we're in a little bit of bother. So we need to be like on it and start like we did against Olympiacos. Like that was the first time for a long while I've sat at home like first 10, 15 minutes and thought, oh, yeah, we've gone for it, and not wasting the first half. And I think that's important that we do that. Don't waste minutes passing it around and that. Go for the throat early, get the goal early, and then let the rest dictate.
No, facts, bro. I'm absolutely with you. Look, I've got to mention a couple of their players that I've always felt a threat. The first one's the obvious choice, Jarrett Bowen. I think he genuinely is the most underrated Premier League player. I can't believe he's not got to move to somebody bigger. Every season he's getting 14, 15 goals for West Ham. He's a very good player, plays right wing and can play centrally. He's one that we've got to watch. And they've also got a left-hand side at the moment that's looking a little bit tasty with this Juve guy at left-back who looks really good. And Somerville back on the left wing, and I've always rated him. So I think they've got a bit of a right-hand side danger with Bowen, but they've also got a left-hand side danger now, West Ham. And if they can get it out there and cause us some problems, then we could be in trouble. So what do you make of them as an opposition in terms of those players, bruv?
Well, exactly that. I don't understand why people like that have not been playing. You know what I mean? Why have they not been playing at the end of the day? What is the... It's just silly, really, isn't it? Like that, that they're not, and one manager don't play them, and like your job's under the line. And you see, like, I thought they were the better team against Everton. By the way, I thought like that, the more the game went on, I thought they got better and better. So I just think at the end of the day, you know, I just don't understand managers at times. Your job's under the line, and then all of a sudden, new manager comes in, completely changed the left side, and they look like a lot more dangerous and all that. Like, but listen, I think that as much as they look like going forward, I think if they want to do that, good luck to them. That you're leaving Saka to 1-on-1, I'll fancy him against anybody. So I do think that they may change that at the back on the left hand side to counter attack our right side. And as you said earlier on, Timber, I think you know will handle that situation very, very well. So, look, Bowen, terrific player. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of him. Like, you know what I mean? Like him as a player. They've got players in there that can cause problems for us. You know what I mean? Like Paquetá can do it as well. Like he's caused us problems in the past. But they've always come here and frustrated us in the last couple of years, but defended, got the goal. And I don't know if you remember, we beat them 2-1. I think it was the year before that, 2-1. It was 1-0 down at half time. It was around about Christmas time. Can't remember. Around about that time. But we got the job done. Martinelli, I think, scored that day, if I remember. I got a goal disallowed when it took about 10 minutes to you know, like for VAR to make sure that they get the lines right and make sure that it was cancelled, the goal. But I think at the end of it, like, you know, they all right. I'll say it. Name me one player that's going to get in their team that's going to get in our team. Name one.
Yeah, it's difficult. Bowen would be the only one that comes to mind, but I'm not sure where he'd play. He'd probably go on the left.
Right,
or Saka on the left.
You'd have him in front of Eze? I wouldn't.
No, probably not. Probably not.
I wouldn't have him in place of Saka.
You're probably not getting anyone in.
So that's where we are, Dan. You know what I mean? Like there's no excuses. When you keep going about no excuses tomorrow. Just go out there and win the game. Go out there and win the game. When people go, why is that then? Because we're the best. We've got better players all round, and we've got better players than them. Like, you know, and they can't. And what's their weakest link? They can't defend set pieces. So they've been, you know.
Yeah. Well, I saw a stat, actually. I did a show with Lawless Big Up. It's just literally dropped on my channel now, a preview with him, right? And he said that they've conceded 8 goals from set pieces, and we've scored 8 set piece goals this season. So it has to be a Gabriel header tomorrow. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if Gabriel's going to play. Is he tomorrow? I'd leave him out tomorrow. By the way, going on to that, but
Oh yeah, he got a knock the other night, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
saying it's all right, but like, I don't know. So I'll let you make that decision. At the end of the day, I'm happy to I am happy to play Mosquera in that, or Dan, get your own little way here. Calafiori at left centre back and Miles Lewis-Skelly at left back.
That's what
I wouldn't be opposed to that tomorrow. Neither.
Yeah, that's what I'd do, because I think you talk about players who deserve games, and I think Lewis-Skelly deserves one more than the last performance he had to the last performance Mosquera had. Not that I think Mosquera's bad, because I think he's been great. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, let's do the team news then, because he's got a couple of options. I'll tell you what I would go with, personally, and then you let me know, and I'll tell you. We'll switch it around to what I think the team will be, because I don't think this will be the team, but this is what I would probably go with. So let me know your thoughts, and you can let us know in the chat as well as myself and judges. So I've obviously gone with the usual back five that I think it's going to be, and I've tried to do it as realistic as I think it's going to be also, but these back five I think are going to play, so I've put them in. Maybe Lewis-Skelly comes in, but for me it's probably going to be this back five, right?
Yeah,
I know you've mentioned Gabriel. I think he'll probably be all right from what we hear, so I imagine it'll be okay. Rice, Eze and Ødegaard in midfield. That is what I would do. I'd drop Zubimendi for this one. I don't think we need Rice and Zubimendi. I just don't think we do for this game. And then Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, and Gyökeres through the middle. That's what I would do, if I'm honest. Gabriel, if he's not 100%, obviously I wouldn't play him. But I'm just going by what I believe will happen. So we'll switch it round to what I think he'll probably do in a minute. But what do you think of that team, Lee?
It's exactly the team that I would play. I'd like to see play anyway. I ain't going to, but that was the team that would be the team that I would like to see play.
Yeah,
that's nothing against Zubimendi. I just think that at the end of the day, they're going to be defensive. We don't need to have all those. We don't need to be that too, like, let's be more adventurous. Like Declan Rice can hold the back four quite comfortably. Like hold the midfield. Sorry. And I think that those two can do the business. I'd like to see it anyway. We see it a little bit, didn't we, against Newcastle for 10 minutes, and we destroyed them. Destroyed Newcastle for that 10 minutes. They didn't know what to do. 1-0 up, they're bringing on defenders, and we were still getting shots off, getting in around behind and everything like that. I would play it. Do you know what I'm going to say? It's 50-50 whether he plays that as well now, the way I've seen him play what he's done in the last couple of games. I wouldn't be surprised if he did do it, where 2 weeks ago I think he would have gone, nah, definitely not, like, you know what I mean? I think maybe someone said to me, maybe he looks at those first 6 games and with a little bit more caution, and now he's going to open up a little bit, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I know what he's going to do, if I'm honest. And personally, for me, I would go with this. But I think what he'll do is he will put in Rice as the advanced 8. And then Zubimendi will come in to his 6th role. And then I actually think he might drop Eze for this game and play Martinelli and bring Eze on. Or he'll start Trossard instead of Martinelli, which he likes to do at the moment. But I think because Trossard started the other night, Martinelli started the other night as well, to be fair. So left wing, I don't know who he's going to go for.
Here go with Eze.
You think it'll be Eze, do you?
Yeah, and I think it'll be Zubimendi in midfield. That is a team that I think that he will play. Not my team, but that would be the team that I think he'll play.
Yeah, let us know in the chat what you think as well. If you think that Eze will start left or in the middle, I think he will. If he does play at all, play out wide. But I do feel like he's so much better in the middle. And I think we've worked out that quite quick. And I think Arteta's worked out quite quick that Eze's better in the middle. Now he can do a job out there, no doubt. But I would rather see Eze in the middle and Martinelli left, because we don't need Rice and Zubimendi both playing against West Ham at home, do we? Like, let's just be real. Like, it's fine.
Well,
but,
you can do it if Rice is going to be like box to box and more not in a double pivot. Like, I think they play a double pivot on a couple of games. I wouldn't want to see that. you play one in there and one. It may be that Rice plays a holding role and Zubimendi has a bit of a license, but one of them needs a license, and I think it will be Declan Rice. But I'm with you. I think why not play 1 and 2? Odegaard, gets back and works hard and all that. This is a game where they're going to concede possession quite a lot, Dan, as far as I'm concerned. So why don't we utilise that time that we have the ball? So I think maybe Mikel might go with that. He might keep him. We all might be smiling.
I'd like to see the team news come out and us all be not deflated and be happy, but you never know with Mikel Arteta. I haven't done it yet so far this season, so we'll see what he does, man. But let's talk about Martin Ødegaard quick, because I was massively impressed with him the other night. I thought he was excellent, and for the first time in a while, it looked like Martin Ødegaard was the Martin Ødegaard that impressed me back in 22-23, in parts of 23-24. He ain't done nothing yet, but it looked much better. The passing that he's delivered in the last couple of games against Newcastle and Olympiacos are the passes that I've wanted to see for a while. He put one unbelievable ball through to Lewis-Skelly at St James Park, but also the other night for Saka's goal and for Gyökeres's chance, which created the first goal as well. So he was instrumental the other night. Have we got him back, or do we need to see more yet?
Look, listen, people going overboard about it, like saying, "Oh, he's back and all that." He done that. He was fantastic, class. Yeah, it's one game. He was class coming on as a cameo. He's had a bloody good week, Martin Ødegaard. He's reminded everybody what a bloody good player he is. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, I think now he's got to back it up with a performance on Saturday. If he plays Saturday, like, you know, I expect him to play, but he's got to play it and be up there. We can all play well for one game and whatever, like, you know what I mean? He's got to back it up now, 3 or 4. He is important to Arsenal. Let's get this. If he gets back to the form that he did a couple of seasons ago, you know, like, we'll be in an unbelievable position for the title, like, because he's that good. You know what I mean? Like, scoring goals, creating goals and everything like that. I remember playing him coming off. Do you remember when we beat Spurs 2-0, scored an unbelievable goal? I'm not walking off there doubting him as a player. I'm doubting, you know what I mean? He was class. He's got to get back to that. But listen, that was a fantastic performance from him on Wednesday, backed up after a very, very, very good cameo role on Sunday. He needs to do it again tomorrow, and he needs to do it when he comes back after international football. But that performance on Wednesday was as good as I've seen for a very, very long while. Well done. More of the same, please, Martin.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought he was excellent and easily our best player. And I think he'll get more time and space against West Ham than we believe, because they're not going to have Souček and James Ward-Prowse, unfortunately, in their midfield. But they will have 2 new players in Fernandes and Magasso. I don't know much about, but obviously under Nuno, he's going to be using those more so than the old school that Potter and Lopetegui were using. But I do feel like they'll give us a little bit of respect and time because we're at home, and I think Ødegaard can definitely shine there. If there's 2 or 3 players around him, sometimes he struggles a bit, and if there's a dominating, bullying midfield like perhaps Newcastle, he might struggle. But I do think that Ødegaard will have a good game tomorrow as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we're all about. Look, before we get all score predictions and stuff, I wanted to touch on a couple of things before we close. Nwaneri, a lot of people worried. Not seeing him. He didn't come on the other night. Didn't come on against Newcastle. Wasn't even on the bench against Newcastle, actually. What's going on with him? Do you think the squad's just too good and he's not good enough yet? Do you think that he will get game time, no time to panic? Do you think he review it in January and see if he needs a loan move? Where are you at? There's a lot of options here, mate. What are you saying?
No, you know, he'll get his games and everything like that. You can't criticise at the moment, like, you know what I mean? There was a call for him to come on against, you know, as you say, like Martin Ødegaard started in front of him on Wednesday night. You can't argue it. He was brilliant. You can argue it and start having a little moan up when things he didn't play well, but he has. Just got to be patient, like, you know what I mean? So that's what I think you need to do. Just be patient, and he will get his games. Didn't feel or didn't sit right with me that he was left out against Newcastle when Max Dowman was on the bench. I think that was a little bit harsh on him. if I'll be really honest. You know what I mean? Like, I think he should be in the pecking order higher than Max, if I'll be honest. But, you know, that's Mikel's call. Maybe he felt that with Saka, he needed, and Madueke being out, that he needed a little bit more cover on the right. But I think Nwaneri can cover that right-hand side as well. So I don't really know what has happened there. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think, yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, you know, at this moment, I don't think it's a problem. He's 18 years of age, you know, and maybe a loan might be a good thing for him. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? It was a good thing for Saliba. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Like, but, you know, when the squad's at its strongest, you know, unfortunately, Ethan's not going to get as much game time as he'd probably like. And, but I think he's just got to keep working hard, keep doing what he's doing. He's impressed when he's played as well. I think that's got to be stressed that he's done well against Leeds and he's done well against Norwich. So that still be in the back of Mikel's mind. You know what I mean? Not to that. So when he gets the opportunity next game, what's he got to do, Dan? He's got to do what Martin Ødegaard done. Come on, take this game by the scruff of the neck. Show. Yeah. And what does that do? That helps the team. So I think it's all good problems to have, and I think he'll be fine because do you know what? He's quality.
He is quality, bruv. He's one of my favourites. And I think you're right. Lewis-Skelly's done that when Calafiori, the form's been there. We've seen Martinelli come on now, 4 goals and assists in 4 games.
Yes. Look how he's responded.
He's responded. Ødegaard responded the other night. And I think, you know, Madueke coming in, and I know he's injured at the moment, but Eza coming in also, looking at Max Dowman and Ethan coming through. I think Ødegaard and Martinelli are looking at that, you know, and saying, right, I need to perform here. And it does give him a kick up the backside. It's a good thing.
100%.
You know?
100%.
Yeah, facts.
You know, Martin Ødegaard must be sitting here injured and thinking, right, I've come off. I've seen 5 goals banged in against Leeds. I've come off again. I've seen 3 goals banged in against Forest. I've seen Eze produce a masterclass performance at Newcastle. So I'll come on and I'll show you my thing. And he did. So I think it just bodes well for Arsenal. And I think that at the end of the day, Nwaneri be going, right, I need to show you now what I can do. And he'll get out there and do the business. So, like, yeah, like, you know, competition breeds good things as well, but also good players around each other make each other better as well, Dan. You know what I mean? So levels go up, mate. Levels go up, and that's what we want. We want levels to go up. We want more of it. We don't want to be just sitting. Odegaard's played well today. We want Odegaard. Yes, he's back to his best. Yes, Odegaard's playing really, really well. Bloody hell, Nwaneri's come on. Look how good he was. Oh, look, Calafiori's having to play well. That is what we want. If we get a player like Odegaard that was stinking out of the joint last season, let's be honest, for whatever reason, still continuing playing, it's a problem. He cannot play like that performances last season because he won't be playing, Dan. So he knows that. So he's got to up his game. And if he don't, Nwaneri comes in or Eze comes in, you know, that's how it is. Like, I think Nwaneri will get his game tomorrow because I think that what will happen is that Ødegaard will come off tomorrow at some stage. Eze, I think, will be on the left-hand side. Or if one of them, if they're both playing, one of them will come off and he'll get some minutes tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he will, and I think he should. Super chat from Scott. Big up to you, Scott. He says, a question for you both. Do you remember the first Arsenal game that you attended? Yeah, I do, actually. It was 94 as a friendly against Ipswich, and Hartson and Wrighty scored. The actual proper game that I went to, though, was actually at Sellers Park. It was Arsenal Wimbledon. I'm not even a club anymore. Well, they are. AFC Wimbledon, I suppose, but the actual Wimbledon one. And we won 2-0, and Ian Wright scored on my birthday weekend as well, I remember. And Vieira, I think we had Merson and Vieira we'd sign. Brilliant game. That was mine. What was your first one, judges?
I don't remember, Dan. You know what I mean? I really don't remember.
That's a shame, that is.
I just remember, all I remember going to the game with my dad, and we was in the West Stand, I think. And we get up to those stairs, and they've showed films of it and programs of it. When you walk up the stairs and you see the green pitch and the stadium and everything like that, it just blew my mind. My mind. But I don't know what game it was. I know Liam Brady was playing because my dad mentioned him. But whatever game it was, I have no clue.
My first game at Highbury was actually 2003. So it's just in the 2000s. I was a bit younger in the 90s, but yeah, 2003 must have been. Signed Reyes, bless him. And he got 2 goals against Chelsea in the cup final. Do you remember? Unbelievable goal.
Yeah. But one of them was a banger. Do you remember it?
That was the first goal for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I remember Adrian Mutu scored, and we went 1-0 down. It was Ranieri's Chelsea as well before Mourinho. And and then we had bloody them 2 goals from Reyes. He literally got a double. It was only one of his first games as well. It was incredible.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, that was my first one. That was the first one at Highbury anyway that I remember. I've been to other games, friendlies and stuff outside. Yeah. Well, I was only about 15 years old, I think, when that had happened. So yeah, you're probably my age now, bruv. Nah, I don't know. I don't know. That was my first one, but the actual first game was a friendly at Portman Road, just because I'm an Essex boy. It was easy for me to get to. It was only like under an hour away, so it was quite easy. But
Ipswich was my first away game outside London.
Oh wow!
So I'd gone like West Ham. I'd done West Ham, Tottenham, of course. What QPR I'd done. Other ones that I'd done. There was another one that I'd done. I can't think of it. There was another one.
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, like the first away game. But the first away game outside London was Ipswich. And we lost 2-1. But they were good. Brilliant times they were. I can't think of it.
I was lucky because obviously we were winning everything when I was growing up. But yeah, it's but let us know in the chat your first Arsenal game. Could be home or away. Your first Arsenal.
Perhaps we'll do some. We're next week we've got international break. We'll do some games where if you put your first game in it, we'll see if we was there and we can try and reminisce and
guess the score and stuff. Yeah.
We'll do that. Yeah. We'll do that we'll do that one day next week. That'd be good. Be good.
Yeah, that will be good actually. Good, some fun in like question and answer stuff. That'd be good. Okay, wicked. Look, I want to close with your score prediction in a minute, but I wanted to ask you: have you seen that the new Opta data is suggesting that Arsenal are favourites to win the Premier League and the Champions League now, and we are, I think, second favourites to win the domestic cups, or we're one of the favourites with Liverpool, I think. That's mad. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what's changed over a weekend, but they saw us against Newcastle Olympiacos and said, that's it. No one's catching this team. Bizarre. If I'm honest, PSG, I think we're close to PSG. If you go to it now, it might have changed. Someone said it's changed already to PSG.
Yeah, I think PSG.
But I don't know how we're favourites at a PSG, Madrid or Barca or Bayern. I don't know how we are because they won it before. We ain't. And they've all got managers that have proved they can win stuff. So I don't know. I don't know your thoughts. Premier League and Champions League favourites, mate.
Listen, I've said it all along. I do think that we're more equipped to win the Champions League, but until Arsenal go to Barcelona away from home and beat them like they did, I know we beat Real Madrid last year, so they're looking on it, like things like that. We got to the semi-final last season with nowhere near the complete squad that we've got now. So yeah, we're in with it. You know what I mean? But I do think there's a couple of better teams like i.e. Barcelona and PSG in front of us at this moment in time. In the Premier League, I think that performance on Sunday, not just the win, the way we played and everything about it there was up there, impressive. For me, this weekend is pivotal. I know it sounds silly, but as much as if we beat West Ham, you know what I mean, and after 7 games, we'll be top of the league. If Liverpool don't lose to Chelsea, then you know what I mean, you'd be in heaven when you looked at that first 7 games and you say, bloody hell, we're top after that, coming away through that. It would be a really good thing. There's a few little problems at Liverpool, nothing that they can't iron out, by the way, you know what I mean? So what I've seen in the league so far, not a lot between Arsenal and Liverpool, and then there's a gap, not a big gap, but a gap between the Manchester Cities of this world and after that, and then there's another gap after that, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
Well, look, I said this earlier.
I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
I'll say it again. There's 3 games that we've got coming up: West Ham, Fulham, and Palace. Last year we had shambolic results against all 3 of them. 2 points in 3 games last year. We've got to get 9.
Yeah.
We didn't beat West Ham, we didn't beat Fulham, and we didn't beat Palace last year. And people are saying these are the 3 easier ones. They're not easy.
No.
Palace ain't lost yet. Fulham are hard at Craven Cottage, and West Ham have now got Nuno. So we've got to go and get 9 points, and it ain't going to be as easy as some people think. It's like we've got to pass these 6 games. It's like, oh, brilliant. Well, we're going to win them all now. Like, don't work like that. Do you know what I mean? So
no, we have to win these. These games,
yeah.
these are the games that cost us the title last season or the year before.
Facts.
Not so much last season, the year before that. We've got to win those games. You know what I mean? You cannot afford to drop points of that. So come on, get the job done tomorrow. Make it a nice weekend for us.
Well, look, Chelsea and Liverpool play at 5:30, and we should be top of the league if we beat West Ham by the time they do that. And that's the pressure that we want to be putting on them, right? So
100%.
they got what's the name out? Alisson's out. Apparently, Ekatike doubtful as well. So they've got injury problems also. So let's put the pressure on. You know, Chelsea, I know they're not playing great at the moment, but it is at Stamford Bridge, a place where Liverpool don't do well at. So if they can just take a point and we win, we'll be you know, able to say
because we've got better goal average.
We can stay top, exactly. So for me, though, it's just about winning our games, you know. And people will say, "Well, Liverpool might drop here, Liverpool might drop there." It don't matter really what they do. It matters what we do. Yeah, exactly.
It's all about us, Danny boy. It's all about us.
All about us. All right, sweet. Look, we're going to leave it there, people. Big up to everyone that's in the house. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. And we'll be at the game tomorrow. We'll be doing some of the stuff afterwards, reaction after the game. So make sure that you do tune into both League Judges TV and Football's 12th Man. And we will see you next time. Lee, I'll let you see us out.
Listen, have a good weekend. Arsenal are on tomorrow. We could be top of the league by 5 o'clock. Who would have thought that? But we could be. Enjoy. Come on, you mighty table-topping gunners.